Okay, I'm coming on this morning to show the verses with regards to Ishmael. Um, so right here it says Hagar and Ishmael sin away. Get rid of that slave woman and her son, for that slave woman's son will never share in their inheritance with my son Isaac. The matter distressed Abraham greatly. Do not be distressed about boy or maidservant. Listen to what Sarah tells you. I will make the son of the maidservant into a nation also, but he is your offspring. Early the next morning, took some food and a skin of water, and gave them to Hagar, and he set them on her shoulders, and then sent her away the boy, and she went on her way and wandered in the desert of Beersheba. It says nowhere in here that Abraham took Ishmael. When the water in the skin was gone, she put the boy under one of the bushes, and then she went off and sat down in nearby and bowshot away, for she thought, I cannot watch the boy die. And as she sat there nearby, she began to sob. God heard the boy cry. An angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, What is the matter, Hagar? Do not be afraid. God has heard the boy crying in the woods. Lift up the boy. She saw a well of water. So she went and filled the skin with water and gave the boy a drink. God was with the boy as he grew up, and he lived in the desert and became an archer. It does not say anything about a city named Emeka. While he was living in the desert of Paran, his mother got a wife for him from Egypt. And then so there's also a theory that he was also, that was not Isaac, it was Ishmael. Well, here you go. It says, Then God said, Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the region of Moriah, sacrifice him there with a burnt offering. And so early the next morning, so he went up in the woods, and he put the boy, he built the altar, he put Isaac on it, and he was about to kill him, and God provided him a lamb. So there you go. So as you can see, and then here's Ishmael's son. So maidservant bore to Abraham. This is the account of Abraham's son Ishmael, whom Sarah's maidservant Hagar the Egyptian bore to Abraham. These are the names of the sons of Ishmael, listed in the order of their birth. I may butcher this, Nabaioth, the firstborn of Ishmael, Kedar. So they think that these two were a certain prophet that lived many years after. And Mishma, Mibsim, Duma, Masa, Hadad, Timar, Jetur, Japheth, and so this is the Bible, and a certain book says always look to the prophets before, and what the devil has done is he is in another book has flipped the script. Instead of Isaac being sacrificed, they're claiming that Isaac was sacrificed. They're also claiming that Abraham went with Ishmael into, and I clearly read those verses. No, he was sent away, and they claim that he built a certain building. And here, nowhere in the Bible does it say that happened. And I'll do you one better. And this is Jubilees, or Jasher actually. So this is this is the same thing where it says that Abraham sacrificed Isaac, lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, a ram was caught in the thicket by his bones. And this is and it says Abraham and Isaac rejoiced at this time. The Lord had commanded them. So that confirms what I was saying. But yeah, so Isaac is the chosen one according to this word. And so also, right here it talks about Ishmael's sons, and the Canaanite woman she bore to Abraham. I'm trying to show you that nowhere in the Jubilees or in anywhere else does it say that And it says right here, it says, I have become old, and I do not know in 100 and of my life, and I remembered, have despised those who serve me, for he is the living God, he is the only faithful. He is holy and faithful, and he is righteous beyond all there with him in accepting men's persons and no accepting of gifts. So basically, he passed on the covenant and the promise from God to Isaac, and that is right there. And this is in Jubilees. And right here it says, Abraham called Ishmael and his son, 12 sons, and the sixth, and he commanded them, saying that they should observe the way of the Lord, and that they should work righteousness, and each love his neighbor, not beat the poop out of him and have war with them, and act on this manner among all men, and that they should each so walk with regards to them as do the judgment and righteousness on earth, and they should circumcise their sons according to the covenant. Fornication, uncleanness, yeah. So yeah, and then we have, the first year, and Ishmael, the son of Hagar the Egyptian, was before the face of his father Abraham in this place, rejoiced and blessed God because he had seen his sons and had not died childless. The Lord had given him seed on the earth. So this is when Abraham went and talked to Ishmael, inherit the earth, and blessed the creator of all things and all nations. And Sarah saw Ishmael playing and dancing, and this is where she became jealous of Ishmael, and cast the woman out, and they went. Do not let it be grievous in your sight because of the child and because of the bondwoman and all. Listen to her words and do them. For in Isaac will your name and seed be called. But as for the son of this bondwoman, I will make him a great nation because he is of your seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and bottled water and placed them on the shoulders of Hagar, the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba, and the water in the bottle was spent, and the child thirsted, was not able to go on, and fell down. His mother took him and cast him under an olive tree, and went and sat her down against him, and at a distance of a bow shot, for she said, Let not see the death of my child. And as she sat there and she wept, Why do you weep, Hagar? Arise. And she heard the voice, and that has seen the child. She opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled her bottle with water, and she gave her child to drink. And she arose and went toward the wilderness of Paran. And the child grew and became an archer. God was with him, and his mother took a wife for him among the daughters of Egypt, and she bore him a son. And his son called his name Nabaoth, for she said, The Lord was near to me when I called on him. And it came to pass in the 7th week in the 5th year, therefore this Jubilee on the 12th of this month, there were voices in heaven regarding Abraham, that he was faithful in all he told him. And he loved the Lord in all that, in every affliction he was faithful. And behold, Abraham loves his son Isaac, and he delights in him above all other things. Command him to offer him as burnt offering on the altar, and you will see if he will do this command, and you will see he is faithful. Abraham was faithful in all the afflictions in the country. So you can see, yet again, it's not Ishmael, it's Isaac. So I'm just trying to show you, with regards, Ishmael was born from Hagar. God said that Sarah would have a child, and they didn't believe him and rushed things, and Hagar was offered by Sarah, and she bore him Ishmael. And then she was sent off, as I just pointed out, both in the Bible and in the Apocrypha. And these are the only books that we have that show the original versions. The next book that supposedly has a different version of this was written 2,000 to 3,000 years after these books, and has altered the Word of God. Nowhere in here does it say that Ishmael was sacrificed, or that they built a church and built something. So yeah. But yeah. So I've read all about him. And so I'm just trying to. So Ishmael became the Arabs and nomads, and they lived like right next door to Egypt. And so basically from the Dead Sea, was it the Dead Sea? But they lived in Paran, which is Saudi Arabia. And they basically, according to Genesis 25:18 and Genesis 16:12, they lived in and this was confirmed by God, lived in hostility toward all tribes related to them, which they have been. They have been God knew what He was talking about because they are in hostility. Later, others settled with them in the peninsula. Keturah's sons, First Chronicles 1:32-33, and Esau's descendants, the Amalekites, also lived with them in this. And a certain prophet claimed to be, well, it is absolutely, he's from Kedar or Nabaoth. And yes, he lived. He was illiterate, and he had a angel. We do not know if it was a fallen angel. There are good angels and there are bad angels. There are the fallen angels, which are the Anunnaki, and they have fooled a couple of different religious groups. Yeah, Ishmaelites were a major element in the Arab line, but the thing is it's just like any nation. You have a melting pot, if you will, of all the different peoples. And I think that all people have a right. And the thing is I'm just trying to show you through the Bible and through other things about the line of Ishmael. So yeah, and not all people from a certain religion that starts with I or M are descendants from Ishmael. And you can have your DNA and confirm that, just like all Jews are not from the line of Jacob. Yeah, but the thing is they will not confirm that either. So I'm just pointing stuff out. So, but yeah, so we've already gone over that. So Ishmael was Hagar's Hagar's son that was born, and Sarah got jealous and kicked him out. So what? So there is definitely a whatever against different religious communities, and there's another group that wants them to basically kill each other off. One that starts with a C and ends with Ishchans, and the other that is also in that area, and they've been fighting with that land, and that land has been called different things. It's been called the land of Canaan. The Amalekites had it, the Midianites had it. It's the land of Edom and Judah, and yeah, so basically it's been going on since time first began. So because you had the original, you had Cain and Abel, and Cain was cursed, and he was able to correct his line, and then you had Jacob and Esau. And Esau's line obviously hated Jacob and tried to take him out in any way. And Jacob, ultimately, it's in here, and he ultimately, all the sons of Esau went against Jacob, even though there's this on again off again battle. So I'm just here trying to show you about Ishmael. He is Abraham's descendant, and God said that he would be a great nation, which he has. And so, but yes, we all come from different lines, and we all have to make the choice who to follow and what to believe. However, I would strongly recommend that you go to the original sources. And God showed me this yesterday. Like, you can have a very bad foundation, and that says this in the Bible, where it says that, oh, well, if you built your foundation on sand, it's going to give way. But if you have a solid foundation, then you can build up and everything will be fine. It's just like an earthquake. So if you have a bad foundation, like if we built think of it this way. So if you build a building, and like I know that this building, you can see it's has stress cracks. So this foundation is not good, and we know that it's falling every year. So if we tore this house down and put another magnificent house, what do you think would happen over time with that house? Because you're already on a shaky foundation, and we already know that the land's settling. The whatever after it that has been made will ultimately fall because of the bad foundation. That's why you make a whole new foundation, because, and that's just like with any science or with any religion or whatever, you have to go back to the basis of and check the research, check to see if everything lines up. And just like in Indian culture, I mean, everything was passed down by word of mouth, just like in other traditions and other religions. And if you've ever played like telephone, or even in your own living, have you ever like thought of a situation and you left out elements? Like you talked to a friend, and you're like, oh well, yeah, you that was correct. It's just that if you, like you cannot have just an oral tradition just keep going. It may be partially true, but the thing is people could have embellished it. They could have put in things because they had issues with certain people, or anything could have happened. And I'm just trying to get you to see that you need a good foundation. So do your research. And I just showed you out of the Bible and out of the Apocrypha that were written thousands of years ago before that other book. And so, and that clearly says who Ishmael was. And there are, I mean, everyone has to basically make up their own mind which God that they want to go after. And I'm not putting anyone down. I'm just merely pointing out the researching and basically showing who, because yes, it was Abraham's seed. So yeah, he is in Abraham's seed. But yeah, so and it's about following God's commands. And it's like if you you can follow whatever you want, but if you don't follow the original design of what God wanted, like His commands that He laid out in Exodus, and that's in Numbers and in Deuteronomy and Leviticus, then yeah, you're gonna ultimately go off course and not make it. And if you don't have Yeshua or Jesus, then you have no way of covering that. You can do all the sacrifices you want, but in the New Testament it says that the blood will not cover those original sins. Blood, it had to have been a person that covered it, because the original sin was done by Adam and Eve, and then and so in order to undo the human condition, God had to send His one and only Son down to earth. So yes, He didn't have multiple sons. He didn't get it on with multiple wives in heaven and all that, which is in a whole another religion. But yes, so yeah, but that's the only way that you're covered. I'm going to do another part to this on Edom, and show you how that fits into all this narrative. But thank you for joining me. But yeah, this is on Ishmael, and I'm just merely pointing stuff out. I'm not calling anyone out. I'm not bashing anything. I'm just trying to show you the biblical proof that was written thousands of years before. And if there's other literature out there, I'm more than welcome to look at it and see where it's coming from. Thank you, and have a good day.